It's official. The unthinkable is happening right before our eyes. King Harris, the wild prince of Atlanta's royal rap dynasty, is spiraling faster than a reality star's career after a leaked tweet. And T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, is standing by helplessly, watching his son slip further into the abyss like a plot twist even Tyler Perry would reject for being too dramatic. What started as teenage rebellion has exploded into full-blown chaos. Mugshots, viral meltdowns, and hospital visits that make love and hip-hop look like an episode of Sesame Street. And the cameras? Oh, they're catching every single tear, tantrum, and tragic confession. Insiders claim T.I.'s trying everything, from emotional interventions to good old Southern sermons, but nothing's working. King's gone rogue, and the internet's feasting on every second of his downfall. This isn't just father-son drama, this is hip-hop's most heartbreaking family implosion. Broadcast for millions to judge. T.I.'s losing control, King's losing himself, and fans are losing their minds trying to figure out where it all went wrong. So buckle up, because this ain't your average celebrity mess. This is the meltdown of a dynasty. Welcome to Scandal Spark, where even legends can't save their legacy. Let's rewind this emotional train wreck, because what's happening between T.I. and King Harris didn't start overnight. This has been brewing for years, marinating in fame, ego, and just enough chaos to make the Kardashians look like family therapy success stories. King Harris, born into luxury, cameras, and expectations higher than T.I.'s hat tilt in 2007, was never your average celebrity kid. From the moment he could talk, he had a mic in his hand and a camera in his face. But somewhere between the flashy cars, social media flexes, and reality show fame, King traded his crown for controversy. And now, he's living like he's trying to win a Grammy for most dramatic downfall of the decade. The first cracks started showing when King went viral. For his infamous "I'm not one of them rich" kids rant, remember that? The one where he swore up and down that he was from the trenches while standing in a mansion that probably had better Wi-Fi than your entire city. Fans laughed, the internet roasted him, and T.I. tried to spin it as a learning experience. But deep down, the man looked worried, because while everyone else saw a spoiled kid with something to prove, T.I. saw something scarier, his son slipping away from reality. And it wasn't long before funny viral moments turned into uh-oh, call a lawyer moments. When the jail rumors hit, the internet did what it always does. Exploded. Mugshots, grainy photos, and fan theories spread faster than a Nicki versus Cardi Twitter beef. T.I.'s son in trouble again? The blogs screamed. Another Harris scandal? The shade pages had a buffet of material. And while everyone was clowning, T.I. wasn't laughing. Sources close to the family claimed the rapper was in disbelief. "He don't listen to nobody no more," one insider whispered. T.I. tried everything, grounding him, mentoring him, even calling old friends from the block to talk sense into him. But King wasn't trying to hear it. He was too busy trying to prove he was real. Let's pause on that word, real. Because for King, being real meant rejecting everything his parents built. The mansions, the show, the status, all of it became symbols of what he didn't want to be. He didn't want to be the celebrity son. He wanted to be feared, respected, unpredictable. He wanted street credibility in an era where keeping it real comes with hashtags and handcuffs. T.I., the man who once bragged about turning his pain into power, was watching helplessly as his son turned power back into pain. "I can't protect him from himself," he reportedly told a friend. Imagine that, one of hip-hop's toughest, smartest, most calculated men, outmatched by his own bloodline. Then came the viral footage that broke the internet and broke T.I.'s heart. A leaked clip from inside a holding cell allegedly showed King arguing with guards, shouting about his status, and threatening lawsuits like a rapper trapped between ego and reality. The internet ate it up, of course. Memes, voiceovers, remixes. Because in 2025, pain is just another form of content. And where was T.I.? Silent. Uncharacteristically, heartbreakingly silent. For a man who's never met a microphone he didn't like, that silence said everything. This wasn't just embarrassment, it was helplessness. The kind you can't fix with a press release or a carefully worded Instagram caption. The kind that forces a father to realize money can't buy maturity, fame can't buy discipline, and love can't stop a meltdown once it starts. But as usual, social media couldn't care less about nuance. They turned the father-son dynamic into a trending topic. T.I. failed as a father versus King just finding himself debates filled every corner of Twitter. Fans picked sides like it was a versus battle for morality. "He's just acting out," one said. "Nah, he's lost," another replied. "This what happens when you raise your kids on TV," someone else wrote, and that one stung because it wasn't entirely wrong. King grew up on camera. Every milestone, every meltdown, every moment of rebellion was broadcast, replayed, and judged. Privacy? Never heard of her. And when the world watches you before you even know who you are, it's only a matter of time before your reflection starts looking like a performance. T.I. knew that life. He'd lived it. The fame, the pressure, the fake smiles hiding real pain. But watching his son repeat the same mistakes hit different. The man who once rapped about redemption was now trying to script it in real life, and it wasn't working. Rumor has it, behind the scenes, things were bad. Family meetings turned into shouting matches. Tiny, ever the peacekeeper, tried to hold it together. "You can't talk to him like that," she reportedly told T.I. "He's not your soldier. He's your son." But to a man raised in the trenches, tough love was the only language he knew. Still, King wasn't budging. He was out late, posting reckless stories and surrounding himself with people who loved the Harris name more than they cared about the Harris legacy. "He's chasing validation from people who don't care if he lives or dies," one insider said bluntly. "He thinks he's proving something, but he's just digging deeper." And yet, for all the chaos, fans couldn't look away. The King Harris saga became America's favorite digital soap opera. Every post, every rumor, every facial expression turned into content. King versus T.I. wasn't just gossip, it was a generational reflection. A father and son divided by fame, fighting to define manhood in a world where masculinity is measured in likes. But then came the breaking point. According to whispers from the Atlanta circle, T.I. got a late-night call no parent ever wants to receive. King had been involved in yet another altercation. The details were fuzzy, but the result was clear. His son was spiraling out of control. Sources say when T.I. arrived at the scene, he looked broken. Not angry, not disappointed, just broken. The man who once lectured millions about responsibility and respect was staring at his son like a stranger. Witnesses described the moment as heart-shattering. One bystander said, "You could see the pain in his eyes. He looked like he wanted to trade places with him." That night, T.I. reportedly told a close friend, "I raised him to be strong, not to self-destruct." And that's when the narrative changed. The memes stopped being funny. The tone online shifted. Fans began realizing this wasn't a celebrity scandal. It was a real father's nightmare playing out in real time. But the internet doesn't rest. As one storm faded, another began. Because somewhere in all the heartbreak and viral noise, a new rumor started spreading. One that would expose how deep this family's pain really ran. T.I. wasn't just watching his son slip away from fame, he was watching him slip away from him. And that's when things went from sad to tragic. If you thought King Harris's downfall couldn't get messier, the internet said hold my ring light. Because as soon as T.I.'s heartbreak started making headlines, social media turned it into a full-blown reality show. Except this time, nobody was acting, and there was no script to save the day. Within hours, clips, theories, and memes started flooding every corner of the internet. T.I. in tears as King spirals out of control, one headline screamed. Hip-hop royalty crumbling from the inside, another added. Fans weren't just watching. They were dissecting this family's pain like it was an open-heart surgery. One viral tweet summed up the chaos perfectly. T.I. spent 20 years saving Atlanta. Now he can't even save his own son? Brutal, but true. Then came the leaked video, the one that changed everything. A shaky, grainy clip allegedly recorded inside a studio showed King arguing with someone off camera, throwing chairs and shouting, "I don't need nobody. I'm a man." The clip spread faster than a TikTok dance challenge. You could practically hear the collective gasp of the internet. T.I., who had been silent up until then, broke his silence. And it wasn't the cool, collected T.I. we were used to. He posted a video that wasn't polished, wasn't rehearsed, just raw. His voice cracked as he said, "I've done everything I can. Sometimes love ain't enough when the world keeps pulling your child the other way." That line hit like a gut punch. The comments section flooded instantly. "Praying for you, Tip. You raised him right, but fame is poison. You can't fix what the internet breaks." But of course, this is social media. Empathy only lasts 5 minutes before the jokes return. It only lasts 5 minutes before the jokes return. Within hours, people were making memes of T.I.'s crying face, using it as reaction material for everything from failed relationships to gas prices. The man's pain had become a punchline. Meanwhile, King wasn't helping his case. Instead of laying low, he doubled down. He posted cryptic captions like, "They only love you when you up," and "Ain't no loyalty in fame." Fans flooded his comments with pleas, "Go home to your pops. You need help, not clout. Don't be another headline." But King, he was too deep in his own storm to hear the thunder. Industry insiders started whispering about behind-the-scenes beef. Allegedly, King had been clashing with producers, friends, even family over money and control. One source claimed he was tired of living in his father's shadow and wanted to prove he was his own man. But proving independence is easy. Proving maturity? That's another story. Meanwhile, celebrities started chiming in because nothing goes viral without famous people turning it into a think piece. Boozy Badass jumped on Instagram Live, saying, "Man, T.I. going through it? That boy King just young, wild, and lost. He'll come back." Fans agreed, until Boozy added, "But that's what happens when you raise your kids off TV instead of the streets." And just like that, the internet flipped. Boozy calling someone else's kid lost? That's rich. Boozy needs to mind his own mess. The comments went nuclear. Then 50 Cent got involved, because of course he did. He reposted a meme of T.I. crying with the caption, "Damn Tip, this ain't it. Should have signed him to G-Unit early. I could have fixed him." The shade was immaculate, but the real emotional gut punch came from Tiny, T.I.'s wife and King's mother. She finally broke her silence with a post that read, "A mother's heart breaks in silence. Please keep our family in your prayers." The image showed her hand holding King's as he slept in a hospital bed, though it wasn't clear when the photo was taken. That single post broke the internet all over again. Fans flooded her page with love, others with concern, and of course, the conspiracy theorists arrived right on schedule. "That pic old," one claimed. "This PR cleanup," another accused. Because in today's world, even a mother's grief is suspect until it gets fact-checked. Still, the photo hit hard. It wasn't just a post, it was a cry for help. And suddenly everyone stopped laughing. The hashtag shifted. Pray for King trended again, this time mixed with protect black men and fathers in pain. People began to realize that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't entertainment anymore. It was a man watching his son drown in the same fame pool that once fed him. But while sympathy was growing, the chaos wasn't done. Because out of nowhere, King went live. The live stream lasted barely 3 minutes, but it was enough to set the internet on fire. Eyes bloodshot, voice shaking, he said, "Everybody acting like they care. Y'all don't know what it's like being me. Pops love the cameras more than me." That one sentence sent shockwaves through hip-hop. Fans were stunned. He blaming T.I. for this? He lost it for real. That boy crying for help and don't even know it. Within hours, the clip hit 1 million views. People analyzed it like a confession. Some defended him, saying he was just speaking his truth. Others called it manipulation. And the rest? They just wanted more drama. T.I. responded the next day in a tone that could break stone. "Ain't no cameras when I'm praying for him. Ain't no cameras when I'm begging God to keep him safe. Don't ever question my love." His voice cracked mid-sentence. It was the first time fans had seen him truly vulnerable. No swagger, no metaphors, just a father broken in half. And here's the part that hit the hardest. The man who used to control entire stages, entire audiences, couldn't control his own home anymore. Behind the scenes, insiders said the family had tried interventions, therapy, even sending King away for a reset. But it didn't stick. "He's addicted to chaos," one friend said. The fame, the attention, the rebellion, it's like oxygen to him now. Meanwhile, public perception began to shift. Some blamed T.I. for being too tough as a father. Others blamed Tiny for babying King. And the rest blamed the internet. Because in this digital circus, everyone plays a role. The most viral comment came from a fan who said, "This isn't just about King. This is about every kid raised by fame and neglected by reality." It hit different. Because they were right. This wasn't just T.I. versus King. This was a generational battle. Fathers trying to discipline in a digital world, sons trying to rebel in public, and the rest of us watching like spectators at a family funeral disguised as entertainment. By the end of the week, the Harris family was officially trending again. But not for music, not for fashion, not for success, for tragedy. And while the internet debated whose fault it was, the truth was simple. T.I. wasn't fighting his son anymore. He was fighting the monster fame had created. But what none of them realized was that the next chapter would make this look peaceful. Because what came next would not only break T.I.'s spirit, it would expose the ugly side of hip-hop parenting that nobody wanted to admit existed. By the time the dust started to settle, it wasn't about headlines anymore. It wasn't about who said what, who posted what, or which blog dropped the exclusive. It was about a man, T.I., looking at his son and realizing the worst thing any parent can ever feel. You can't save someone who doesn't want saving. King Harris had become more than a troubled young star. He was a walking storm. Every move he made was a headline. Every meltdown became a meme. Every attempt at redemption got twisted into ridicule. What used to be cute rebellion had turned into an unfiltered tragedy. And T.I., the man who'd spent 2 decades building a legacy out of respect and survival, was now watching that same legacy collapse in real time. Let's be clear, this wasn't some random celebrity scandal. This was hip-hop royalty bleeding in public. The father-son duo that once embodied Atlanta pride had become a cautionary tale for every family caught between fame and failure. Rumor has it, after King's explosive livestream, things hit rock bottom at home. Insiders claim that T.I. tried to sit down with him again. One last time. Man to man, a source said. But not rapper to rapper, not celebrity to celebrity. Just a dad talking to his boy. It didn't go well. Apparently, the conversation started calm, like they both wanted to fix things. But King, still angry, still hurt, snapped. He reportedly yelled, "You care more about the world seeing you be a good dad than actually being one." That line sliced through T.I. like a blade. Witnesses say he just stood there, silent. The same man who could outtalk anyone in hip-hop had no words left, and that silence, it said more than any lecture ever could. Because when you strip away the fame, the money, the Grammys, and the ego, what's left is a father trying to figure out how to love his son without losing himself. That night, T.I. reportedly left the house, drove around Atlanta for hours, and ended up parked outside one of the same neighborhoods he came up in, the same streets he'd spent his life escaping. One witness said he just sat there, head in his hands, crying. You could tell he was praying, the witness said. Not for fame, not for success, just for his boy to find his way back. But the cruel truth about fame is that it doesn't give you space to heal. It demands content, and the internet was hungry. Every move T.I. made became tabloid material. Every rumor about King became clickbait gold. One gossip page even posted, T.I. losing control, King Harris rejects help again. Fans flooded the comments with speculation. He just needs tough love. T.I. too strict. Tiny too soft. Everyone had an opinion. Nobody had empathy. Then came the photos, the ones that made this story go nuclear. Paparazzi caught T.I. leaving the hospital again, eyes red, hoodie up, face buried behind his hand. No captions, no words, just pain. Fans swore they saw tears. That picture spread like wildfire. It wasn't a rapper anymore. It was a father breaking down in front of the world. Imagine watching your child destroy themselves and the world laughing about it. One fan tweeted. Another said, T.I. looks like a man begging God for a do-over. But the internet never sleeps. Just hours later, new footage dropped of King in a club, surrounded by chaos, flashing jewelry, screaming lyrics about never needing nobody. The timing was cruel, almost cinematic. While one clip showed a father crying, the next showed his son spiraling, and people couldn't stop watching. Suddenly, T.I. became the face of every parent who's ever watched their child lose themselves. The man who once preached about success, power, and control now represented helplessness. He wasn't the king of the South anymore. He was a dad in pain, stripped bare in front of millions. And yet, in the middle of that storm, a moment of grace emerged. Tiny, who had been quiet for weeks, posted a photo of King as a little boy, smiling ear to ear with the caption, "I'll never give up on you. Love always wins." That one post changed everything. Fans stopped dragging and started praying. The comment sections shifted from L memes to genuine concern. Even celebrities started showing support. Cardi B reposted it, writing, "Parents go through it too. Y'all be too quick to judge." Meek Mill chimed in, "This the realest thing I seen all week. Protect your family tip." But while the world softened, King didn't. He doubled down again. He posted a story that read, "Stop speaking on me. I ain't no child." That single sentence reignited the chaos. The internet split into factions again. Team T.I. versus Team King. To factions again. Team T.I. versus Team King. He's grown enough to talk reckless, but not grown enough to face consequences. one fan wrote. Another argued, T.I. made him like this. He taught him toughness, not tenderness. It became bigger than one family. It became a cultural debate. Fathers versus sons. Old school versus new school. The generation that believes in discipline versus the one that believes in therapy. Every talk show, podcast, and gossip channel had an opinion. And in the center of it all sat T.I., silent again, watching the circus he never wanted. Sources close to the family say he's been struggling behind the scenes. He blames himself, one said. He keeps saying, maybe I was too hard on him. But the truth is, King's his own man now. T.I. can't parent what the world already poisoned. Then came the breaking point, the one that changed everything. At a recent charity event, T.I. got emotional during his speech. He paused mid-sentence, looked up, and said, I thought I could protect my son from the mistakes I made. But maybe I was wrong. His voice broke. The audience went dead silent. Cameras caught every word. It wasn't a performance, it was confession. That clip went viral instantly. Millions of views, thousands of tears, and one overwhelming realization. We weren't watching a celebrity anymore, we were watching a human being unravel. And the irony? In losing control, T.I. found what fame had stripped from him years ago: authenticity. The next morning, King posted something nobody expected: a black screen with white text. I love my pops. We just different. It wasn't a reunion. It wasn't healing. But it was something. A crack of light in a very dark tunnel. The internet exploded with emotion. Fans flooded both their pages with support. This is the start, one wrote. Father and son, not rapper and prodigy. Another said, maybe this whole thing was needed for them to finally see each other as humans. And that's the real story here. Beneath the gossip, beneath the clickbait, beneath the sarcasm and memes, this is a story about two men chained to the same legacy, trying to find love in the wreckage of fame. T.I. may never fully save King Harris, because maybe that's not his job anymore. Maybe his role now is to stand back, love loudly, and wait for his son to rise or fall on his own terms. The saddest truth, every parent eventually learns that lesson. Some in private, some, like T.I., in front of the whole world. So as the cameras fade, as the hashtags die, and as the music of their story plays its final notes, one thing remains undeniable. T.I. didn't lose his crown. He just discovered what it really means to be one. Because kings aren't defined by their power, they're defined by their pain. And this king, he's learning that sometimes love isn't enough to save your bloodline. Sometimes it's just enough to keep believing they'll find their way home. And there it is. The story that broke the internet, shattered a dynasty, and reminded everyone that even the strongest kings bleed behind closed doors. T.I. didn't just face public humiliation, he faced the kind of heartbreak that money can't buy your way out of. And King Harris, he became the walking headline no father ever wants to read. My child slipped through my fingers. But this isn't the end. Oh no. This is just the trailer for the sequel. Because if you think the Harris household is done making headlines, you clearly don't know how the fame game works. Every tear, every reunion, every no comment is another episode waiting to drop. And Scandal Spark will be right here to give you the unfiltered version. So before you scroll off to the next meltdown, do what legends do, smash that like button like it owes you child support. Hit subscribe like you just caught your ex checking Kings live. And drop your hottest take in the comments. Is this redemption or a royal disaster waiting for its encore? Because around here, the scandals don't stop. They just get more cinematic. The tears glisten, the truth twists, and the drama never dares to sleep. This is Scandal Spark, where fame meets fallout and emotions go viral faster than apologies. Stay tuned, stay curious, and stay ready because the next breakdown, it's already brewing. And remember, in this kingdom of chaos, the crown never protects you. It just makes the fall that much louder. Fall that much louder.